Hey, Troy Morgan here with PanTech Design, the creators of Adapt Energy. I'm actually here at Tipler showroom in Pine Island. This is one of the model homes, and it's pretty exciting to be able to show off some of the technology that we have here. As you can see behind me, I've got a sonnen battery that's going to be powering the home here in a minute when we actually shut power down to the house. And what you can't really see is back here the Adapt Energy panel, but you can at least see the cover here, so you can get an idea that Adapt Energy is back there. Now, one of the things Adapt Energy does, if you look down here at these iPads, is it communicates with the sonnen battery and sort of gives us an idea of what's going on. We can see how much solar power we're generating. We can see how much battery life we have if we were to lose grid power right now. And we can also see over here on this one, the breakers, and you can see that every one of those 16 breakers is currently on. Now, what I'm about to do is I'm actually going to shut power down to the house. So this is going to make the sonnen battery sort of take over, and it's going to be powering the home. You're going to hear a little bit of a loud bang. That loud bang is actually a spring-loaded solenoid driven inside of the battery to allow this transfer of power to occur in 100 milliseconds or less. It's extremely fast, and that's why it needs that spring-loaded solenoid. So I'm going to go ahead and shut our power down, and you'll hear that loud bang, and then we're going to want to pan down to those and see the breakers change really quickly. Here we go. Now we should be looking at a bunch of, well actually not yet, I have to make a choice. I'm going to say, I'm not going to worry about any of that. We won't do any additional settings here. So there you see all of the breakers that Adapt Energy actually turned off. Now, why are we turning off those breakers? Well, it's important to do that in the first case if we need to shut down things that the battery can't possibly power. The second reason might be to make the battery last even longer. So for instance, right now, if I wanted to, I could say, you know what, let's not allow the microwave to work. Or we can see here this AC unit that's literally in the room that we're in is just barely drawing a little bit of power and it's off now, but I can actually force it to be off. And now you'll see it won't draw any power. So what that does for us is it makes sure that the battery can last as long as possible. Now I'm going to go ahead and return power, and by returning power, the home is going to have grid power, but you're going to notice nothing really happened. We are still on battery power. The lights that you see on right now, still on battery power. We've still got our breakers in, the majority of them in the off position. And right now the battery is looking at that grid power coming in and it's saying, okay, I've got grid power, thank you for that, but let's make sure that grid power stays perfectly clean for 5 minutes. And after that 5-minute stretch is when we'll see everything sort of return back to normal, the breakers will turn back on, and we'll be back on grid power. So we're waiting on our 5-minute timer to expire, but one thing I did want to make sure you knew is that during this process, the battery is actually looking at the grid to see if the grid power is stable and good. Once it sees it's got good stable grid power for that straight 5 minutes, then the battery will return us back to grid power, just like it did, and you're going to notice that the circuit breakers are all going to start turning on, and they're going to turn on in a sequence, which is important. That way we don't have inrush occur, and we don't sort of slam the grid with a whole bunch of power requirement. So part of the beauty of how Adapt Energy and sonnen work together, and really cool to be able to show this off in a Tipler model home.